Hello friends, welcome to another What's for Dinner video where I take you along and cooking dinner for my family this week. I hope you guys enjoy this video and get some dinner ideas. The first meal of the week were potato vareniki. Some people call these pierogis. I started off with peeling and slicing up some potatoes, which I'm going to boil and mash. And while the potatoes are going, I'm going to finally chop up 3 large onions and start caramelizing them. With the onions and potatoes cooking on the stove, I move on to the dough. I will link the recipe I use down below for you. This is a very simple and easy to work with dough, which I love to use for both pilymeni and vareniki. Vareniki are a Russian and Ukrainian dish. They are half-moon shaped dumplings that are boiled in salted water and served with a few varieties of toppings. My favorite filling is definitely the mashed potatoes and the caramelized onions, but you can also make these with lots of different fillings, including sweet ones like cherries and blueberries for dessert. While I am working on my dough, I go back to the stove very often to make sure that the onions are not burning and that they're nicely caramelizing. Once the onions are caramelized, I remove them and set them aside. And then into the same skillet, I'm going to cook my turkey bacon. Bacon is a great topping for vareniki for some protein. We don't eat pork, so we use turkey bacon. When the dough is done in the stand mixer, I transfer it to the counter and hand knead it for a few minutes, and then set it aside underneath a large bowl to rest. Once my potatoes are cooked through, I'm going to drain all the water out and transfer the potatoes into the clean bowl of my stand mixer, and I'm going to use the paddle attachment to mash all the potatoes. Then I add about 1/3 of my caramelized onions into the potato mixture, and I'm going to season this with some pepper and just mix it all together. Back to the dough, I need to knead it one more time just for a couple of minutes and then let it rest for the last time. For my turkey bacon, I just slice it into small little bite-sized pieces and set them aside alongside with the caramelized onions that are left over. Those are both going to be used as my toppings. Now that I have all the components for this meal, I take a small slice of dough, flour it well on both sides, and roll it out thinly. I like to work with a small piece of dough since it's just me working on these, and if I roll out too much, the dough will dry out before I have time to seal it. But if you have helpers, use more dough at once. In fact, assign different jobs for every single person. I have this small pastry cutter that I use to cut out my circles. I'll link this one below for you. It is from Target. I cut out as much circles as I can, and I keep the scraps of dough underneath my bowl to reuse. I fill each circle with my potato filling and pinch the sides, creating a half-moon shape. I place my finished vareniki onto a floured tray. This recipe makes 2 meals for our family of 6. One for today and the other one I will freeze. I do this by placing the entire tray into the freezer, and then once they are frozen, I remove the vareniki and place them into a freezer bag. I then just add a minute or 2 to the cooking time. This makes a wonderful home-cooked meal for a day when I actually don't have a lot of time to cook. So a little extra work today will make me very thankful in the future. These are best eaten freshly boiled, so at dinner time I bring a large pot of salted water to a boil and then I gently place in the vareniki inside. I boil these for about 9 minutes fresh and about 13 minutes frozen, or until they all float up to the top. If you're not sure if they're done, just slice one in half. The dough should be cooked through. Into a bowl, I like to place a couple tablespoons of butter, and then using a spider strainer, I transfer the vareniki to the bowl and gently toss them to combine with the butter. This is a very carb-heavy meal, which is why we don't have it very often. But when we do have it, I make sure to serve it with a salad. I chopped up some tomatoes, cucumbers, onion, and avocado, placed that into a bowl. And I like to dress the salad with equal parts mayo and sour cream, some salt and pepper, and just stir well to combine. So dinner is ready. I set everything out on the counter to help ourselves. I like to top my vareniki with caramelized onion, turkey bacon, and sour cream. The kids just like turkey bacon on theirs. Plus, that creamy salad makes a perfect side to this meal. Moving on to another family favorite, stuffed shells. I'm starting off by bringing a large pot of salted water to a boil. Next, I'm going to grate 1 large onion into a large skillet. You can definitely just chop it up, but my kids prefer it when I grate the onions. Then I'm going to add 1 pound of ground beef to that. I'm seasoning the meat with salt and pepper, and I'm using my ground beef masher to break it up into small pieces. While the beef is cooking, I'm going to work on the rest of my filling. For my filling, I'm adding 1 generous tablespoon of pesto into a bowl, along with a container of ricotta cheese, some mozzarella cheese, an egg, some salt and pepper, and then just stir it well. When my water has come to a boil, I'm going to cook the shells according to the package directions, stirring often so none of them stick together. Once my ground beef has cooked through, I'm going to remove it from the heat and place it to cool before I can add it to my cheese mixture. Once my shells are cooked through, I'm just draining the water out, and I'm going to rinse them with cold water to prevent any sticking. When my ground beef has cooled down, I'm transferring it into my cheese mixture and stirring it well to combine. I pour some marinara sauce onto the bottom of a casserole dish, and now it is time to fill my shells. I place a generous tablespoon of filling into each shell and line up the shells neatly in the casserole dish. So once I have stuffed all of my shells, I pour some marinara sauce on each shell and top everything with mozzarella cheese. I covered the casserole dishes with foil and baked at 350 until the cheese was bubbly. For the vegetable side, I just made a quick salad and dressed it with ranch. So this was dinner. So delicious. The last thing we had this week were barbacoa rice bowls. I love making rice bowls because everyone helps themselves and makes it just the way they like it. I'm starting off by cubing and searing off about 2.5 pounds of a chuck roast. And while I am searing the meat, I'm going to go ahead and make the sauce that it's going to cook in. The full recipe will be linked down below for you. I usually make this in an Instant Pot. She has a recipe both for the Instant Pot and the slow cooker, but since today we're going to be out of the house most of the day, I decided to use the slow cooker. I puree all of the sauce ingredients in the blender until smooth. Once my meat is seared, I'm transferring over to the slow cooker and I'm going to pour the sauce over it. And this cooked for 6 hours on high. I made brown rice in the Instant Pot. I'm cooking 3 cups of rice for our family of 6, so I just add equal parts of rice to water and 1 teaspoon of salt per cup of rice. I cook this for 16 minutes and do a natural release for about 5 minutes. While the rice is cooking, I chopped up some toppings for our bowls and I made some guacamole. For the guacamole, I just add cilantro, onion, 2 ripe avocados, some lime juice, salt, and pepper into a bowl and just mash the avocado. I don't make our guac spicy because I do want my kids to eat it as well, but if you like it a little bit spicy, you can add some chopped jalapeno peppers. The toppings are ready to go. I go ahead and shred the beef. And then I'm going to drain a can of corn and a can of beans and heat those up in the microwave. I love to add some butter, salt, and pepper to both. And for the beans, I also add some ground cumin. Once my rice is done, I just add in a few tablespoons of butter and stir it in until melted. Brown rice is our favorite. We love the chewy texture and nutty flavor. So everything is ready to go. We serve ourselves and make our bowls just the way we like them. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and got some dinner ideas. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.